Geek, the leader in quality news. Covering Kansas at 5. This is Geek News.
Hundreds of Wichitans spend hours in line to get tickets to see a galaxy far, far away. Good evening, you know what we're talking about. But would you wait in line for more than a day to be the first person just to see a movie?
Well, many people in Wichita did just that today to catch the first glimpse of the Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, a worldwide phenomenon that swept the world and defined the childhoods of many generations. It had it all: sweeping space battles, interesting characters, and a setting that hasn't been seen before. I could go on about what other people like and dislike about Star Wars, but I'm here to discuss what I like about this franchise. Yeah, there are some movies I like more than others, and I may get into my dislikes as well, and I might have some opinions that may be considered a bit controversial. But my goal for this series is to talk about what I like about Star Wars. In this series, I plan on talking about most of Star Wars in film and television in canon. From the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, spin-offs, the Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, and the soon-to-be released Disney Plus series that are coming out soon. I don't plan on talking about Resistance. I don't remember much of what defined my childhood other than 3 things: Spider-Man, Pokemon, and Star Wars. These things were my favorite. The first Star Wars movie I have watched was A New Hope. A New Hope did everything right. Epic space battles, compelling characters, and the effects were top notch. I would go to say it still mostly holds up. But what exactly do I like about it? I like how they represent the Jedi, and how they're treated like myths and legends, even though that may contradict the prequels and Clone Wars, where the Jedi were pretty prominent and worked closely with the Republic. But this could also be explained that the Outer Rim territories at this point in time aren't as aware of the Jedi as some of the core worlds were, and that there were only thousands of Jedi in a galaxy of trillions. Also, the Empire must have influenced how the Jedi were perceived post-Clone Wars and downplayed their contributions to the Republic. They also don't really mention how the galaxy viewed the Jedi in these movies, other than Han mentioning that they were some hokey religion. Along with the Jedi, Episode 4 also had to introduce the Force. The Force in A New Hope doesn't really touch the more physical aspects of it. Instead, it's toned down compared to other movies, and it's used more sparingly. Obvious examples are when Luke trains with the training droid on the Millennium Falcon, and this is actually the scene where I mentioned that Han Solo believes that the Jedi are some hokey religion. The Force is also used on Tatooine, where Obi-Wan uses the Jedi mind trick on the stormtroopers in Mos Eisley spaceport. It says the iconic line, "These are not the droids you are looking for." Lastly, another instance used in the movie was when Luke is in the trench at the Death Star, and when he shoots the proton torpedo into the exhaust port to blow up the Death Star. These are all the more prominent usages of the Force in this movie that I could remember, and as the series goes on, we get to see some of the more physical uses of the Force, which I have no opposition to, because I think those are cool too, and I'll dive into those once I get to it. Now into the characters, as they're arguably the most iconic parts of these movies, other than the quotable lines in the music. There's a variety of characters that A New Hope introduces. There's C-3PO and R2-D2, 2 droids who have witty banter. That's actually pretty funny when you only understand C-3PO. There's also Luke Skywalker, a farm boy from Tatooine with high aspirations who's thrusted into the conflict between the Galactic Empire and the Rebellion. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Jedi from a more civilized age. There's also Han Solo and Chewbacca, the hotshot smuggler and one of the greatest pilots in the galaxy, and his Wookiee co-pilot. And I can't forget Princess Leia, the Princess of Alderaan, who served in the rebellion, and someone who wasn't afraid to get their hands dirty. And lastly, there's Darth Vader, the mysterious Sith Lord who serves the Empire. All these characters bring something to the table. Luke is very gung-ho about saving Leia. From the moment he saw the holotape in Obi-Wan's hut, he wanted to save her. He was the classic hero. It may be a bit cliche, but I don't think that's much of a bad thing. Han is a reluctant hero who doesn't want anything to do with the rebellion, but in the final hour comes back to help Luke. Leia is a tie to the rebellion, the force that fights against the Empire in this trilogy, and Darth Vader shows how ruthless the Empire is. I love these characters, and in my opinion, they're the best characters the series has to offer movie-wise. Even though this movie came out in the late 70s, A New Hope holds up surprisingly well, other than the few wonky scenes. What's funny is, some of the scenes added in the special editions actually looks worse than the original scenes. That's the stuff added in Tatooine stands out like a sore thumb, especially the Jabba scene at the hangar. However, I do like the X-Wings getting into formation outside of Yavin 4, right before the battle at the Death Star. At the end, as I feel like it feels more, makes the scene a bit more dynamic. Now let's actually get into the original special effects. The opening shot after the opening scroll is arguably the most iconic scene in all of Star Wars. The cruiser being tailed by the Star Destroyer. When I watched this movie in preparation for this video, I couldn't believe how well it's held up. The planets in orbit look amazing, and the ships are so detailed. I loved it. And when the scenes in the Death Star, especially the shot with Obi-Wan crossing the bridge, it looked amazing. It really looked like he was high up in the sky. The matte painters really outdid themselves for this film, and it really shows. Now I'm not going to forget the trench run. That looked amazing. I love how well it looked and how tense the fight was, with the X-Wing fighters being taken out by the TIE fighters and how menacing of a pilot Vader was. It was really a great scene. The one thing I think other movies have on this film, which isn't the fault of the movie, but it's just something I thought about. The movie doesn't really have many planets. There's only Tatooine and Alderaan, true, but you don't really see much of it. And there's also Yavin. So there's only really 2 planets you get to see the surface of, and 3 planets where you actually see the entire thing, and one blows up. But it's not much of an issue. It's just something I thought of. I just thought I would point it out. I don't know. A New Hope introduced a bunch of the most iconic sound effects found in these movies. From the TIE fighters, the blasters, the lightsabers, hyperspace, R2-D2, and just a bunch of iconic Star Wars sound effects originated from this movie. And has pretty much remained the same since, minus a few adjustments. My personal favorite is the TIE fighters. They sound awesome. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Those words by Obi-Wan are so ominous, it makes Obi-Wan sound so powerful. But because at this moment you might have not watched the next movies, and you have no idea what he means. What does he mean by he becomes more powerful? The mystery behind that is really captivating. And then right after that, Vader slices right through him, and then he disappears. Something that might be tied to the Force, or something greater, you don't know at this point. That's something I really like about this movie. Much of the mysteries of this universe are yet to be answered. It's brought so many opportunities for great stories and expanding it and just going deeper into the lore and the mysteries of the Force and Star Wars. What do you like about A New Hope? What don't you like? In the next installment of Why I Like Star Wars, I'll be talking about The Empire Strikes Back, so be on the lookout for that. I also plan on doing other videos about different topics, such as Attack on Titan, The Flash, the MCU, and some other Marvel books. Those will probably run concurrently with Why I Like Star Wars, as this series might take a bit to get through once I get to the TV shows like Clone Wars and Rebels, where there are multiple seasons. So this has been Why I Like A New Hope. I hope you enjoy. This is my first video, so a little introduction. My name is Kevin. I like all things Marvel, Star Wars, and DC, so this is what my channel will be talking about. I'll also be talking about other topics, as I mentioned, Attack on Titan, and maybe some other stuff that catches my eye, my attention. So that's what I plan on doing. I'll also be talking about maybe some video games, like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and Knights of the Old Republic 2, and Jedi Fallen Order, stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you stick around. And so this has been, I'm Kevin from Kevin's Realm of Geeks, and I hope I get to see you all again. Thank you and enjoy, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.